Hi, my name is Sky, and this is a continuation of an idea I have for a game which I'm kind of calling Gang of Daggers. And I don't know, it's just some inspiration came to me the other night, and this is something I was thinking about. So, using just the PlayStation 2 controller as an example, of what I'm thinking about, and you could essentially apply this to the Xbox 360 controller as well. But I was just pondering and considering the idea of like, okay, if you had a melee combat first-person shooter type game, so first-person perspective, but you have hand weapons, so things like daggers, swords, spears, shields, axe, mace, even a flail, other type weapon, maybe even a whip, and stuff like that. How could you have how could you apply a first-person control scheme mechanism to that? And because, it's just like, well, how do you manipulate? How would you interact with another character on the screen, in combat and such? And so, in that way, I just kind of thought, well, rather than make it too difficult, why don't you just simplify it? And so I'm going to get into that in a moment. But so using this controller as sort of the meme or the mechanism, I was thinking, okay, so there are a couple different things you can do. And in one in particular is if you face off with the target, so you move around, and maybe use this as your viewfinder, and then say, okay, bam, I see a guy, I'm going to target him. Hold down this button, you're now locked onto that target. And what kind of, I'm still kind of debating on, but, so what if you had a shield and you had a, medium-sized, or small melee weapon in the other hand? How would you do that? But I'll just, for simplicity's sake, and I'm sorry about going off and here and there, but you hold down this button, you lock on, and you move within distance of the target. Or whatever distance you're at from the target, that's the distance you're going to maintain. But I think really, once you lock on the target, you close to within striking distance, or actually you close within danger distance of the opponent. And with that, if you hold down this button, you can duck. If you just press the button, you can jump. So hold it down, release. You can hopefully do like a bigger jump, and that could be involved for special moves later on. And I had a couple ideas. One is that, so like say you have a sword in the character's right hand, or so you could conceivably do a, if you hit the top button, you come down straight away, or from overhead onto the target. Hit from the right, you swipe right to the left, left to right, down, you go from up down. Or it would be more like that's quadrant you would attack on the enemy. So as a result, you can also use your weapon to block. And I was thinking that, so let's say you push the button and released, or better yet, so you push the button and you push it again at a certain point, and that would cause a feint. So and then I was thinking, okay, how about you hit this button and you quickly follow by pushing another button, so up, right, so you start from the top and you slice down, right, left, slice across, and so R3 would be a straightforward jab, maybe. And so I had an idea for that, but I'm forgetting it right now. And while locked on, you could use the L2 and R2 button to move left to right, and that's more for a dodge motion. So so conceivably you'd want to dodge certain attacks. Because the other thing that was crossing my mind is different weapons are strong and weak against other types of weapons. There's the skill level of the player or the character you're using, and that's one notion is that you can jump between characters, and how that plays out is that's a whole another long thing to explain. But so let's just say right here, so you lock on, and you have these two buttons, which I think could also be used as for the control scheme of weapons, and so that way you can conceivably dictate where you want your weapon to strike. And so I think it'd actually be smarter than, or probably make more sense to attach the weapon to, or like whatever is in the hand of the character would be attached to one of these control sticks. So you lock on and you say, okay, I'm going to swing my sword around from up to, or from the left to the top, immediately go down, maybe do a stab right in the middle of that. And it's something also that you could time the motion, because the character would have stats such as strength, agility, stamina, and there'd be some other concepts as well. Hit points would be, I'm thinking hit points would not be too big of a deal. It would be more of a sort of panic / wearing out, so that if say you have a weak character facing off against a strong character, and they could conceivably you could tell that character, okay, I'm going to go control and fight a different guy. You just kind of stand off, so parry the opponent, or if you were fighting. And the thing is, if your character you're controlling was too weak and the opponent you're fighting either had a weapon that had an advantage against you, or you just were taking, you couldn't, or you didn't have an advantage against your opponent, you would start getting, sort of, the red vision, the red haze around your viewfinder, and that would indicate that, okay, you're getting overwhelmed. And so if you kept taking damage, you would, become injured and sustain either permanent injury or, even be killed. So that's a, that would indicate like, okay, now it's time to move out or to relocate from, that location. But the different weapons is a key component of, basically things I've been talking about beforehand with A Gang of Daggers. So in particular, well, a whole other thing.